Hello, darling, and welcome to CareOffBook. It's me, Care Darling, and oh my gosh, Broadway. Is there going to be a strike? And I hope not. Broadway might be headed for a real life strike, the first one in over 15 years. What's wild to me is that this actually might be tied to the government shutdown that's going on. So let's break this down. What's going on, who it affects, and why it all matters for Broadway performers, and honestly for anybody that loves live theater. So Actors Equity, that's the union that represents Broadway actors and stage managers, is in the middle of some really tense negotiations with the Broadway League, which represents producers and theater owners. Their big contract, called the production contract, expired September 28th. That's the one that covers most of Broadway shows. And now the union has authorized a strike, which means they can officially call one if talks break down. And here's why. It's actually over healthcare contributions. Equity says that producers haven't increased their payments into the health fund in over a decade, and without a raise, that fund could run out of money by next spring. Producers are pushing back, saying the cost of healthcare is already too high, and that's where this gets interesting. At the same time this Broadway drama is unfolding, the US government is literally shut down. Why? Lawmakers can't agree on how to fund the government, and healthcare is one of the biggest sticking points. Republicans have been pushing a bill that could end up doubling healthcare costs for a lot of people by cutting back on subsidies. Those are the discounts that help families afford healthcare insurance through the Affordable Care Act. They're also spreading a false claim that Democrats want to give free healthcare to undocumented immigrants. That's not true. Under current law, undocumented people can't even qualify for most federal health programs. Democrats are refusing to pass that version of the bill because they say it would hurt working Americans and make healthcare more expensive. So the government shut down. And while I understand you may think this has nothing to do with Broadway, it kind of does. Think about it. If healthcare is getting more expensive nationwide and the government can't even agree on how to fund it, producers are going to feel extra pressure to hold on to their money. They're worried costs could skyrocket, and that makes them less willing to agree to Equity's demands for higher healthcare contributions. Meanwhile, actors who often rely on union-provided insurance are saying we can't afford not to fix this. Because if that health fund dries up, thousands of performers and stage managers could lose access to care altogether. So now you've got the perfect storm. A union trying to protect its members' healthcare, producers trying to control rising costs, and a national healthcare crisis that's making everyone nervous. Add a government shutdown on top of that, and suddenly the Broadway negotiation room starts to feel like Act 2 of Les Mis. Everyone's fighting for what they believe in, and no one's sure how it's going to end. If a strike happens, about 32 Broadway shows could shut down. That means no performances, no rehearsals, no previews, no ticket sales. Everyone feels the impact, from actors and stage managers to ushers, musicians, and even nearby restaurants and hotels that depend on Broadway traffic. Last time there was a strike like this, it was actually in 1968, and Broadway was shut down for 3 days. During a strike, union members aren't allowed to rehearse, perform, or promote struck shows on social media. They can still share their own content, but not anything that advertises or supports a production under contract. It's about solidarity, making sure everyone stands together until a fair deal is reached. Broadway has always been a reflection of the times, and right now, this isn't just a fight about showbiz. It's a fight about healthcare, fairness, and survival. Actors and stage managers aren't asking for luxury, they're asking for stability in an industry where work isn't guaranteed. So while Congress argues over national health care and the government sits in gridlock, the Broadway community is standing up for the same basic thing: affordable health care for people who make a living bringing joy to others. And honestly, that's a curtain call that we can all root for.
So what did I miss? What did I miss?
Listen, I know that was a lot. I'd love to know your thoughts. I just know that if the strike happens, even though I'm not part of the equity or anything like that, I do want to support those. And so that just means I'm not going to be giving updates as far as what's on Broadway, what are they doing. But I can talk about movie musicals and also productions that are already done. Like if I want to talk about a pro shot or anything like that, I believe that I still am able to, right? You can always correct me in the comments. If there are any updates, I will create a video on it, because I do think that it's these kind of things that are really important. And to me, it's like, well, if we care about musical theater and all those things, then it's like, why aren't we more supportive to those who are actually performing for us and who are working, like stage managers and stuff? Okay. So like I said, love to know your thoughts. You heard some of mine. And yes, if you enjoy talking about musicals and performances, oh my gosh, you come to the right place. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care, darling.